In 2015, OpenAI published a charter. The mission was to build artificial intelligence that safely benefits all of humanity. 11 years later, that word, safely, is gone. Deleted from the mission statement, buried in a tax filing. And the company just signed a classified military contract with the Pentagon. This isn't a story about one decision. It's a story about a slow collapse, a series of small, deliberate steps that turned a non-profit safety lab into a for-profit military contractor. And the most unsettling part isn't what OpenAI did, it's that nobody stopped them. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 6 moments that made this transformation inevitable, and why the company that actually tried to draw a line got banned by the United States government. To understand how far OpenAI has fallen, you need to understand where it started. December 2015. A group of researchers, backed by Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and $1 billion in pledged funding, announced the creation of OpenAI, a non-profit research lab. The mission was clear: build general-purpose artificial intelligence, make it safe, share it with everyone. No profit motive, no corporate shareholders, no pressure to cut corners. The original charter read, OpenAI's goal is to advance digital intelligence in the way that is most likely to benefit humanity as a whole, unconstrained by a need to generate financial return. Unconstrained by a need to generate financial return. That was the founding principle. That was the whole point. And for a few years, it actually worked that way. OpenAI published its research. It shared its models. It operated like an academic lab with a safety mandate. The board existed to protect the mission, not to generate returns. But here's the thing about nonprofits in a winner-take-all industry. They don't stay nonprofits for long. Moment 1. The restructuring. In 2019, OpenAI created a capped profit subsidiary. The idea was simple. They needed money to compete with Google, and non-profit donations weren't going to cut it. So they created a for-profit arm that could accept investment, but with a cap on returns. Investors could make 100 times their money. No more. That sounds reasonable, except it was the first crack. Because once you have investors, you have people whose financial interest is in the company growing, not in the company being safe. Microsoft invested $1 billion, then $10 billion more. And the cap on returns? It kept getting raised. 100x became the floor, not the ceiling. By 2024, the capped profit structure was gone. OpenAI filed to become a full for-profit public benefit corporation. The nonprofit foundation that was supposed to govern everything? It now owns 26%. Microsoft owns 27%. Employees and other investors own the rest. The organization built to be unconstrained by financial return is now majority owned by people whose entire interest is financial return. Moment 2. The firing that failed. In November 2023, the OpenAI board did something unprecedented. They fired Sam Altman, the CEO, the face of the company. Now, the board said Altman had not been consistently candid in his communications. Later reporting revealed what that meant. Altman had given the board inaccurate information about the company's safety processes. He withheld details about the release of ChatGPT. He wasn't transparent about his financial ties to an OpenAI startup fund. The board, the one built specifically to protect the mission, tried to course correct. They used the one mechanism they had. It lasted 5 days. It's nearly all of OpenAI's 770 employees signed a letter demanding Altman's return. Microsoft backed him. Investors threatened to pull funding, and on November 22nd, Altman was reinstated. The board members who fired him were replaced. Think about what that means. The safety mechanism worked exactly as designed. The board identified a threat to the mission and acted, and the market overruled them in less than a week. After that, the board was restructured. Yet the new board included investors. The old safety-first governance was gone, and the one time the system tried to protect the mission, it got destroyed for doing so. Moment 3. The safety teams. In 2023, OpenAI created something called the Superalignment team. The goal was to study how to control AI systems that might become smarter than humans. OpenAI committed 20% of its computing power to the effort over 4 years. The team lasted less than 1 year. In May 2024, both leaders, co-founder Ilya Sutskever and researcher John Laika, resigned. Laika's departure was scathing. He wrote publicly that OpenAI's safety culture and processes have taken a back seat to shiny products. He said his team had been struggling for computing resources and that it was getting harder to do the research. OpenAI disbanded the Superalignment team entirely. The remaining members were absorbed into other departments. And then in February 2026, just weeks ago, OpenAI disbanded its mission alignment team. This was the team created specifically to keep the company aligned with its stated mission. 7 employees, 16 months of existence, gone. The team leader was given a new title, Chief Futurist. 2 safety teams, both created with public commitments, both quietly dissolved. The pattern isn't subtle. Moment 4. The deleted word. Every year, nonprofits file a Form 990 with the IRS. It includes the organization's mission statement. OpenAI changed its mission statement 6 times in 9 years. In 2022, the mission read, "Build AI that safely benefits humanity, unconstrained by a need to generate financial return." In the 2024 filing, released November 2025, it reads, "Ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity." One word disappeared, safely. Yet in the phrase "unconstrained by a need to generate financial return," the founding principle, was deleted years earlier. This wasn't announced. There was no blog post, no press conference. It was buried in a tax filing that nobody reads. The company removed safety from its own mission statement and didn't tell anyone. When reporters noticed in February 2026, OpenAI didn't deny it. They didn't explain it. They just moved on. Moment 5. The military pivot. Until January 2024, OpenAI's usage policy explicitly prohibited the use of its technology for military and warfare. It was a hard line. Then, on January 10th, the policy was quietly updated. The specific ban on military use was removed. In its place, a vague prohibition against using the technology to harm yourself or others. Experts immediately flagged the shift. Removing military and warfare and replacing it with weapons left a massive loophole. OpenAI could support military operations, intelligence analysis, logistics, and infrastructure, just not weapons development narrowly defined. By December 2024, OpenAI had signed its first defense contract, and then came February 2026. Anthropic, OpenAI's biggest competitor, founded by former OpenAI employees, was negotiating a $200 million contract with the Pentagon. Anthropic drew 2 red lines: no mass surveillance of American citizens, no autonomous weapons systems. The Pentagon refused to agree. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei said publicly, "We cannot in good conscience accede to their request." The government's response was extraordinary. President Trump ordered all federal agencies to stop using Anthropic. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth designated Anthropic a supply chain risk, a label normally reserved for foreign adversaries like Huawei. The $200 million contract was canceled. And here is where the story turns. Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, sent a memo to staff. Yet he said OpenAI shared Anthropic's red lines. He said this was an issue for the whole industry. Over 70 OpenAI employees signed an open letter supporting Anthropic's position. Hours later, Altman announced OpenAI had signed a deal with the Pentagon to deploy its AI on classified military networks. Hours, not weeks. Not after careful deliberation. Hours. And Altman admitted the deal was definitely rushed, and that the optics don't look good. He said the Pentagon agreed to the same 2 restrictions Anthropic had demanded. But the legal structure was different. Anthropic wanted the limits written into the contract. OpenAI agreed the Pentagon could use its technology for any lawful purpose, with OpenAI retaining technical control through what it calls a safety stack. The company that said no got banned. Yet the company that said yes got the contract. Now zoom out. 2019. Restructured from nonprofit to capped profit. 2023. The board fires Altman for safety concerns. He's back in 5 days and the board is gone. 2024, the Superalignment team is disbanded. January 2024, the military ban is quietly removed. November 2025, safely disappears from the mission statement. February 2026, the mission alignment team is dissolved. February 2026, a classified Pentagon contract is signed hours after a competitor gets banned for refusing to cross the same lines. No single moment looks catastrophic. Each one has a reasonable explanation. We needed investment. The board overreacted. Safety work was integrated into other teams. The policy update was a clarification. The mission statement evolved. But lined up, the direction is unmistakable. Every guardrail that existed in 2015 is now gone. The non-profit governance. The Safety First Board, the dedicated safety teams, the usage policy banning military applications, the word safely in the mission statement. All removed, all replaced with something weaker or nothing at all. This is what a slow collapse looks like. Not a single dramatic betrayal. A sequence of individually defensible decisions that, taken together, transform an organization beyond recognition. And the most important question isn't whether OpenAI made the wrong call on any individual decision. Yes, it's this. If the company that was specifically designed to prioritize safety couldn't hold that line, what does that tell us about every other AI company that never even tried? If this changed how you think about AI, subscribe. Hidden Economics reveals the systems nobody else is talking about. Watch this next.